It's a beautiful night here in Norman, Oklahoma, and welcome everybody to the Lloyd Noble Center on the campus of the University of Oklahoma. I'm Bart Connor, along with Kelly Garrison Funderburk. We're excited you've joined us for this terrific gymnastics meet featuring Oklahoma, Arizona State, Arkansas, and Denver in an exciting quad meet format. Looking forward to tonight's competition, and Kelly, last week, Oklahoma had a ridiculously high score of 198.375, one of the highest scores in the nation, and obviously improved their #1 ranking in the U.S.
It's just amazing the way week after week they continue to get that score. But, you know, we see it here at Oklahoma, but I also know that it's all over the country, that it's going to be tough to win a national championship. It's not just Oklahoma getting 198s, but you see Florida and you see UCLA and Utah, so it's going to be a challenge, Bart.
You take a look at the breakdown. The RQS is the way they rank the teams. They take the highest 6 scores. At least 3 of them have to be away scores. They drop the high score and average the 5 remaining scores, and based on that, the 197.98 for Oklahoma puts them ahead of LSU in the national rankings. All right, this is an important meet, Kelly, because there are 4 meets competing simultaneously in this quad format. And as we look to the postseason, a lot of these teams are very excited about this format because this is how the rest of the meets will be in terms of the championship part of the season.
It is, and you know what? It's a different feel because with the dual meet, there's just one other team. There's a more energy in the arena. There's also just the noise level of hearing the other athletes. And so it's going to give them a real feel of what it's going to be like for post-championship competition.
All right, this is senior night. There are 4 seniors who will be graduating for the Oklahoma Sooners, but our Sooner to watch tonight is Stephanie Couture, and she gave the Sooners a big lift last week on the balance beam, didn't she?
She really did. She was the start-off, Bart, and she started with a 9.95 crazy high, which really did help the Sooners get back to their national #1 ranking. But she's always been a steady Eddie for the Sooners, and she's just a rock. She has a calmness about her and a quiet confidence that any coach would love.
All right, well, it's going to be a great night of gymnastics. We're glad you've joined us. Competition begins when we come back.
Sooners Sports TV is brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. OU Extended Campus. Degrees online, on campus, on your schedule. Become the tradition. Riverwind Resort. Still the one. And Red Carpet Charters, the official motor coach carrier of OU Athletics.
And before we start today's competition, let's check in with the 3rd member of our broadcast team. Megan McDonald has a report about how the Sooners are building off that impressive 198.375 from last week.
Bart, thanks. Of course, Oklahoma is coming off a 198.375, the nation's highest score so far this season. I caught up with senior Stephanie Couture, asked her, how do you simply build off that score with so many meets left in this season? And she said, complacency, not something she's worried about with this team. They go into practice each and every day with one thing on their mind, and that's to make improvements on every single detail. She even mentioned the sophomore phenom, Maggie Nichols, who scored 2 10s just last week. Even she has upgraded her floor routine, adding that piked full in. No signs of complacency here tonight, Bart.
All right, thank you, Meg. Yeah, we're excited about this meet because we have 4 top 15 teams. And all of these teams, Kelly, coming off an impressive week last week. They're all sort of getting into the rhythm of this season and showing impressive scores.
I think what they're trying to do is develop their confidence and also figure out how much training is enough and how much rest time they need to recover between each competition.
So we'll be excited to take a look at these teams. Arizona State, Denver, and Arkansas, all teams in the top 15 and all teams that, you know, have hopes of making to that postseason. First vault for the Sooners up already. It's Alex Marks.
It appears that we just caught the tail end of it, Barb. It appears that she stuck that vault. That's a great way for the start off the Sooners.
Alex Marks from Cushing, Oklahoma, gets them off to an outstanding start with a very clean technique vault. Now, as we mentioned, it's 4 teams going simultaneously So it's going to be something of a, well, 4-ring circus, although looks like vault and uneven bars are going to alternate back and forth. So on even bars right now for Arkansas is the impressive Jessica Yamzon, does all around for them. Look at that dismount.
Wow. I haven't seen a dismount like that this year. It's impressive. She starts off and already having such high difficulty with a full out and layout position.
Nicole Addison for Denver on balance beam. Justine Callis, Arizona State on floor. So vault and bars will alternate back and forth. They go faster than beam and floor will go continuously in this competition. Nicole Lehrman now for the Sooners.
A nice clean vault also, not perfectly stuck, but Nicole's just getting her feet wet. Experience is what she needs going into postseason. She hasn't been in the lineup consistently, so this is great for her.
Alex Marks led them off with a 9.875. See the scores there on the left of your screen. Alex Marks has a 9.875 for the Sooners. We're waiting on the score for Nicole Lehrman's vault. She was second to go.
Well, you can see right there, Bart, why her score's not quite as high.
Jessica Yamzon led off for Arkansas on the bars. This is Sarah Schaefer.
Sarah's just a freshman. She's been SEC Freshman of the Week. She is unbelievable and brought so much to the competition. She's beautiful. She has great technique. And on top of that, Bart Connor, she's nice, is what I've been told.
I was talking to head coach Mark Cook, who's in his 17th season there. And they had a rough year last year in terms of injuries, but really happy with where they are this year. Now, Brenna Dowell up for the Sooners, the junior from Odessa, Missouri.
You know, Brenna's been a rock. Almost. I was just going to say, I swear she stuck almost every single vault this year. That one she did have to take a step back. It's almost like she was trying too hard. You see that step right there.
So the score for Nicole Lehrman after Alex Marks was a 9.825 as you get one more look at this 1.5 twister for Brenna Dowell, which is a 10-0 start value vault.
You know, it's exciting to see all this gymnastics on the screen, but it's also when you're in the arena to have, you can see now why it's such a challenge for the gymnast because there's so much going on. It's like, where do I look? Where do I look?
And for us, we're trying to keep up as well. Sydney Laird now. She is the freshman from Kings Mountain, North Carolina. I mentioned earlier, they're very excited about the season that Arkansas is having after having a very rough year last year with injuries, in fact, to one of their stars, Amanda Wellick, who's back, and she's very strong in the all-around for them.
Great routine for Sydney. Sydney was a Canadian national team member early on, and she's really just starting to get her feet wet as a freshman and trying to find her way.
A.J. Jackson, one of the 4 seniors that will be celebrated in tonight's senior night here in Norman, up on the vault for the Sooners.
Just hard to imagine watching the Sooners without an A.J. Jackson in the lineup. Oh, nice. Great vault. She always can bring such amplitude and lift off the vaulting table. She's really one to watch if she could just nail that landing.
Brenna Dowell before her, by the way, had a 9.925. Fairly big hop on the landing, but she does really get a good pop off this vault table, doesn't she?
She really does, and it's so hard for her, Bart, to find that landing. You know, it's like I think her adrenaline just kind of kicks in, and she just can't help but have that extra lift.
Sometimes with all that extra power, it's hard to contain it. Back to the bars. For Arkansas, Amanda Wellick is the young lady I mentioned who is injured last year, and she is back in the all-around. And a key player here for this team that's really only using 8 athletes tonight.
A clean start. Great to watch her. I'm glad she's back in the lineup.
A.J. Jackson notched a 9.9. Anastasia Webb now up for the Sooners.
Anastasia has such a unique, wow! Such a unique fall.
She planted that landing. Boy, no movement whatsoever.
It really looked like a kid in a candy store. Watch her when she lands it, and her facial expression, she was just like, that was it. And that is a 10-0 start value, Bart.
Right, it's a half on pike front off, and she looks thrilled with that. This freshman is having a really impressive first season for the OU Sooners.
Well, that's one thing I noticed for all of the teams here tonight is that either a freshman or sophomore is truly their star athlete. And so you would think as a senior they would bring the experience and really have the highest scores, but you're usually looking at the sophomores.
This is Bray Speed, the senior from San Antonio, Texas. She had a 9.95, a career high last week on the uneven bars for Arkansas.
You know, she is such a beautiful gymnast, 5'8". She's so long that when you do bars and you have a beautiful line like that, it just really emphasizes the beauty of our sport. A little bit past the double or the blind fall. But she stuck that landing, she pulled it right out.
Maggie Nichols set to go to wrap up the vault lineup. Score for Anastasia Webb was a 9.925. She stuck her landing. Sooners have 2 9.925s and a 9.9, and here comes Maggie Nichols. She scored a perfect 10 last week.
Ranked number 2 in the country. Not a stick. You know, at this time of the year, it's exciting to see them. You almost expect them to start sticking, but, you know, they're coming off a big win. And so physically, to rebound like that, Bart, I mean, you know how that is. I mean, it's hard physically, but it's also hard emotionally and mentally.
Interesting, last week she landed with her feet pretty far apart and still got a perfect 10. Looked like this week she tried to keep her feet a little bit closer, but wasn't able to hold that landing. It'll still be a strong score in the opening event for the Sooners, who already have a 49.45, regardless of whatever they're going to get from Maggie Nichols. Haley Garner set to go for Arkansas on the bars.
Haley is, again, one of those sophomores who've come in and is just doing great.
From Memphis, Tennessee.
Her high score is a 9.925. So we'll see what she can bring here. Beautiful bugle, wow. To an immediate overshoot. Combining those skills from high to low immediately helps bring that combination bonus connection. Oh, and a little step on the landing.
Mark Cook said she just exudes personality, and we'll see that throughout the competition. Here's Bree Showers for Oklahoma. She's doing an exhibition performance after the score is in now for Maggie Nichols at 9.9.
You know, Bree is just one of those dependable, consistent athletes. She's going to bring the same thing in practice that she brings in a competition. You always want someone like that on your team.
Oklahoma has a 49.525. In the opening event, once again, Bree Showers doing exhibition. That's for her personal experience, but that score will not count towards their team total. So vault and bars are complete.
This is exciting because we'll get an opportunity to see balance beam and floor exercise, and all of us like to see those events, so power events on floor, and also having to show poise and confidence going into that balance beam 4 inches wide.
On floor for Arizona State, Caitlin Zavransky. And coming up on beam for Denver, Mia Sundstrom, one of their 2 all-arounders. Sundstrom, like Arkansas, really relying heavily on 8 gymnasts. They had some struggles earlier in the year with injuries, but
well, Barton, it's also difficult coming in to a different arena and starting on balance being first rotation. You know, you sometimes just want to get your feet wet doing an event like bars or, well, even a vault, really, you know, but starting balance being like, really? So this is great experience for them. You never know what draw you're going to get going into regionals. On what
Denver,
event
you see their score there, 29.275. They only have 3 performances so far. Beam taking a little bit longer than the other 2 events. Arkansas, oh my goodness.
Ouch. You can see right there how she just missed that front foot. I've done that before, and it really does hurt. Mia is one of those freshman gymnasts that really helping out Denver this year. Unfortunately, that routine will, hopefully that score can be dropped.
She's normally quite steady and very competitive young lady, so expected to be more consistent than that. Unlucky there in the first rotation.
Well, and that really wasn't even a case of nerves. It was just a slip. You know, Melissa Kutcher-Reinhardt, the head coach there at Denver, told me if they have a mistake today, it's going to be a mistake caused from fatigue, not from any other, not from preparation. She's prepared.
And Coombe up for Arizona State on floor. She's an interesting story, a member of the 2012 Olympic team for France. She was a reserve athlete for the French team at the Rio Olympics. And she has been a great contributor to the program at Arizona State. This young lady who starts her career as a junior because she had graduated high school in 2014. So even though she didn't come to school till this year, the NCAA acknowledged that she should begin her collegiate career as a junior since she's of that age.
Well, I know that Coach Santos has been very excited to have her along with Cairo Leonard Baker, which we will see shortly, because she's really brought, those two together have really brought the level of competition higher, and it's raised everyone's expectations. Even the younger classmen have realized that, okay, we've got to bring our A game so we can get a higher score for our team.
Maddie Carr, one of the other all-around standouts for Denver. She's on beam. You see the scores there. Unfortunately, Sundstrom had a 9.225 after that fall. Remember, in collegiate competition, 6 athletes compete. The best 5 scores will count towards their team total. And Maddie Carr delivers, and she's happy.
Well, they needed that score, and that kind of sets the tone again, gets them back on track. And so, you know, Maddie's high score on beam has been a 9.95. I love the fact that she was just so poised, and she did a most beautiful dismount. It was nice and high, 4.5, and a perfectly stuck landing.
Cairo Leonard Baker now for Arizona State on floor after Ann Coombe finished her routine.
Couldn't help but giggle when I heard that music. It made me turn my head and want to watch.
Cairo has 5 times this season the newcomer or freshman of the week for the Pac-12. The young lady from Oakland, California, making huge contributions as a freshman for Arizona State.
Well, and you know, she's ranked 10th in the country in the all-around. And so if you look at each of the teams, Denver has Maddie Carr at number 7. Arizona State, as we said, number 10 with Cairo. Of course, there's Jessica's Yamson, and also, of course, we have Maggie Nichols from Oklahoma. Look at that, ending a nice high double pike.
Caitlin Scow for Denver on the beam. Scow is a junior from Orlando, Florida. This is one of her best events. In fact, she's ranked 18th in the country here. And in 2017, she hit 100% of her beam routines for Denver.
Sounds like a dream come true for a coach. And the athlete. Beautiful. I like that dismount because normally you see it just from a stand, but the way she does it with the back handspring into it, it gives it so much more power and lift off the side of the balance beam.
The head coach at Denver, Melissa Kutcher-Reinhardt, very impressed with that young lady. She said, she's really one of the unsung heroes of my team, and they are having quite a good year. They had an impressive 197.3 on Monday. Interestingly enough, the rankings come out on Monday mornings, and so it didn't count in their RQS at this point, but it'll be factored in by next week. It's just a random day that they decide to release the rankings. Seems a little silly to me because several teams compete on Mondays. I don't know why they don't release the rankings on Tuesday when those teams who compete on Mondays have a chance to have that score incorporated into their
That's a good thought.
RQS.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll consider that.
I think that will be brought up at the coaches' meeting because it is unfair. There's several teams during the regular season that have Monday meets. Corinne Belkoff on floor for Arizona State doing an exhibition. Once again, those are for experience only, not necessarily. The score will not contribute to their team score. So as you can see, that score for Arizona State on the floor, they're waiting on Scow's score to see if it'll replace that, a somewhat lower score.
Beautiful. And a nice save on the balance beam.
Courtney Loper doing an exhibition. She was one of those athletes that was injured this year. And they really need her back on beam when she's at full strength on beam and floor.
You know, Bart, Coach Melissa Kutcher-Reinhardt, she mentioned to me, you know, we are still building. They started out their season competing 5 girls on 3 out of the 4 events. And so she's like, anytime now we can just get more kids in the lineup because they really are building. It's not like they're finalizing like some of the other teams are.
You see on the right there, Jay Santos in his 2nd season. He, along with his wife, Jessica Santos, he's giving some notes to his team as they move to the next event. It is a quad meet with 4 teams all ranked in the top 15 in the nation going on tonight in Norman, Oklahoma. So we have completed the first of 4 rotations in this essentially 4-ring circus. We'll head to the break, and when we come back, we'll update the team scores. The Sooners have, as expected, a comfortable lead after an impressive start on the vault. The Sooners will move to the bars in the 2nd rotation. Great gymnastics in Norman, Oklahoma. You're not going to want to miss the rest of this one.
Sooners Sports TV is brought to you by Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Taco Mayo, fresh Mex. Get what you want, get what you need. Riverwind Resort, still the one. And Walden Cleaners, the quality and service you're looking for in your neighborhood cleaners since 1933. Sooner Sports TV Personalities Wardrobe is provided by Threads Menswear and Blush on Campus Corner. Hair and makeup provided by Studio Zen.
All right, let's take a look at the upcoming Sooner athletic events presented by Red Carpet Charters. You see it is a busy week coming up, and in fact, this weekend alone, there's 7 broadcasts going on Sooner Sports with gymnastics for men and women, and softball, of course, for women, and baseball for men. There's a lot going on in Norman, Oklahoma these days, and the weather's gorgeous. It's 75 degrees, and it's a nice day to be outside, but we're glad you're inside watching this exciting gymnastics meet with these 4 top 15 teams, all of them with their sights set on a potential berth in the postseason. Just the top 12 teams in the nation make it to the NCAA championships, and so they all feel like they have a fair shot at that, and certainly they do. Let's go down to Meg.
Thanks. Oklahoma is #1 in the nation on vault, and they're #2 in the nation on their next event, bars. And a lot of that has to do with the difficulty of their routines. Both Brenna Dow and Stephanie Couture, they throw raise as their release move, which is very difficult. Anastasia Webb, she does a shapash half, again, on the difficult side when it comes to release moves. And Maggie Nichols, she does 3 release moves, the most of anyone in the NCAA. So when it comes to the difficulty of these releases, they're on the harder spectrum. Judges like to see good gymnastics, but they are ecstatic to see good, difficult gymnastics, and that's exactly what the Sooners do on bars.
All right, thank you, Meg. Good point there. Anastasia Webb, she did her part there on the vault for the Sooners and stuck her vault. Let's see what she and her teammates can contribute here on the bars in this second rotation. Arizona State will be on the vault. Denver moves from the beam to the floor, and Arkansas, started on the bars, will be on the beam in this second rotation. Tom Haley, the assistant coach, who is responsible for several things, including coaching bars and conditioning program for the OU Sooners. And it's probably worth mentioning, Kelly, that OU really spends a good deal of time in the preseason on conditioning, but they don't give that up as the season goes on. They really condition hard the first few days of each week. And I've noticed some teams, they lose their fitness level as the season goes on, but that doesn't seem to happen for the Sooners, does it?
No, it doesn't. I think they certainly make that a priority because they realize the importance of it, not just from an aesthetic look, but also from a healthy injury to prevent injuries.
So in this second rotation, Arizona State on the vault. Caitlin Zafransky will lead them off.
You know, Caitlin's a transfer. It's been exciting. She transferred from LSU to come back to Arizona State. It's an opportunity to compete. She just wasn't quite making that lineup there, and I know it's difficult, especially at LSU.
And she joins her younger sister, Ashley Zafransky, who's a sophomore there. AJ Jackson on the bars now for the Sooners.
AJ's really been a leader and stepped up as a senior to lead them off each competition. We all realize the importance of a steady, confident.
She had an unusual dismount last week. She caught her feet on the bars. It shocked everybody. Oh!
Not today!
That was impressive. It's senior night, and AJ Jackson is 2 for 2, and you can tell there's a sense of celebration there because
right.
Not only did she stick that landing, but it was considerably more impressive and less dangerous than last week.
A little sigh of relief, especially going into the postseason. You don't want to do that the day before nationals.
Justine Callis from Arizona State leading them off. Jessica Yamsen was the first performer for Arkansas on beam. Mia Sundstrom on floor for Denver.
Great ball. A little bit of a pike coming down, which caused the step backwards. That is something that they'll continue to work on to keep the hips open as she lands.
Jessica Ginn. Anastasia Webb now for the Sooners on bars. Score for AJ Jackson, and 9-9 to start them off.
That's the kind of leadoff that Coach Kindler is certainly wanting from the Sooners. It's hard to get that 49-6 without starting off with a 9-9 or higher. Oh, wow, she really
Another
can find
stuck landing, 2 in a row for Oklahoma.
I just love that expression. It's so genuine and pure that she just loves that she did it.
She is 2 for 2 in terms of sticking landings. That's rivaling Brenna Dow, who typically can radar those in.
Well, she's got 2 more to go, so we'll see.
And Kuhn for Arizona State set to go on the vault. On beam, Sydney Laird for Arkansas. Claire Kern set to go for Denver on floor.
Just as a reminder, Anne is the French Olympian. You can see why right there. Just nice high lift off the vaulting table.
Scores before her were the 9.8 for Zavransky and Ginn, a 9.775. Stephanie Couture, one of the seniors being celebrated tonight, and our Sooner to watch.
Beautiful, nice high to Tkachev. There's another release down to the low bar. It's hard to tell from this angle, but it looks like she's hitting right in that handstand. That is definitely something that the coaches are looking, or the judges are looking for. You have to be within 10 degrees.
Almost a stick, maybe it was. Hard to tell from this angle.
It was hard to tell.
Anastasia Webb before her, a 9.925. Cairo Leonard Baker now for Arkansas.
Wow.
Arizona State, excuse me, on vault.
She definitely has power in that vault. It's nice to see. What I can't, or I look forward to is just watching her. She's just a freshman, and so I'm like, yes, we get to watch her for another 4 years, or another 3.
Brenna Dow making last-minute preparations for Oklahoma on the bars.
She's such a veteran. It's fun to watch. You feel confident, relaxed as she heads up to start her routine. There's that ray that they were talking about. That one is in a straddle position.
She has really surfaced this year as a leader, a vocal leader for the Sooners, and she didn't quite start out that way, but talking to Coach KJ Kindler, she's really impressed with how she has stepped it up.
Again, Bart, I guess it's the angle. It's really hard to tell if they stick that landing or not, if she moved her foot. I guess if they would land with her feet perfectly side by side, we'd know. Wow, nice high vault. Little bit of a flare. She doesn't need that pike in order to land it.
Morgan Wilson from Arizona State completing her vault there here in the second rotation. Once again, it's a 4-ring circus. So Arizona State has had 5 vaulters already. Oklahoma has had 4 bar workers. Nicole Lehrman and Maggie Nichols will be the final 2 performers for the Sooners, and both of these young ladies own a share of the 2017 NCAA championship on this event.
It's pretty impressive stats to have both of them on one team. It also raises the bar to make that lineup.
Look at the scores for the Sooners. Jackson 9.9, Webb 9.925, Stephanie Couture a 9.925, Brenna Dow a 9.875, and here goes Lehrman, a junior from Austin, Texas.
She just has a great line about her. All the way through to that toe point. Legs are glued together. You know, it's nice to see the coach not stand there when she does the release move. It just shows confidence of the athlete, although we certainly know why. It looks to me that they continue to take a tiny step. It's those little deductions that you want to get out of the way, because postseason, that will not win a championship.
Gracie Rushton now, the final vaulter in the competitive lineup for Arizona State. The 5'4" gymnast from the state of Arizona. Maggie Nichols getting ready to go for Oklahoma on the bars. The score is in now for Nicole Lehrman. It's a 9.95. So the Sooners once again on a very impressive pace, averaging over a 9.9 here almost at the halfway point in the meet, and Maggie Nichols has scored perfection on all 4 events in her young career, which means she has completed what they call the Gym Slam.
Notice that first release move she did, the ray, but piked. That's the Chapage half, just like Anastasia Webb does. But what Maggie does is she combines them all together.
Oh, that's just beautiful.
That's money, isn't it? Money in the bank right there.
It is amazing, the calm swing, the fluid swing, and beautiful technique for the sophomore from Minnesota.
Well, and I think, Bart, you and I both know when you watch it and we're just nodding our heads like just such ease she does it, such confidence.
So the Sooners once again on a record pace. They've scored 198, which is a 9.9 average 5 times this year. That's more than any other season in the past. And Maggie Nichols expected to notch another huge score as if it was just a walk in the park.
I know it. It's really amazing. And to see her dismount raises on the second flip of the double layout. She just has that it factor. Right when you think, oh, well, she's, others are just as good, they got a 10. She has something magical about the way she performs.
Maddie Carr on floor for Denver.
Maddie's got such a fun personality that when you watch her do floor, you can see that just come right out of her gymnastics. And you can see the background, that her teammates are cheering and having fun along with her. That's what college gymnastics is about.
Sophia Carter for Arkansas on the beam. Carter, the freshman from Blue Springs, Missouri.
It really puts what I was going to say, just she has the ability to put the fun back into gymnastics. And sometimes at the elite level, when you're training, you kind of lose sight of that because you're so intense and trying to achieve your goals. And that's one thing about college gymnastics, and why people, if they haven't come to a college gymnastic meet, it's truly a different feel than watching an Olympic competition. Coach Kindler says it's the greatest show on earth.
So look at the scores for Arkansas on beam. Yamsen at 9.875, Laird 9.525. Wellick, unfortunately, only a 9.175. So extra pressure in this lineup now because 6 athletes compete. The best 5 scores count towards the team total, and a hit routine there from Sophia Carter.
Well, she's been outstanding this year on balance beam. She is ranked number 13 in the country as a freshman. So, but she has that consistent training, having did her club training at Gage Gymnastics. So, it's just not computerized, but it's just ingrained in her, and she's really having a fantastic freshman season.
Nicole Addison will be next up on floor for Denver.
Bart, I was watching this next young lady about to mount balancing, Haley Garner. She really had an inconsistent warm-up in her balance beam. She does a crazy, neat, and hard combination and side arrows straight into layout step out. I'll be curious if she throws it. It's beautiful when she hits it, but in warm-ups, I probably saw her make 1 out of 5.
Interesting, she is one of 3 all-arounders typically on the team for Arkansas: Garner, Wellick, and Yamsen. So literally half of their team scores come from just 3 athletes. And as I mentioned earlier, they're only using 8 athletes currently in their lineup. But like all these teams, they're all trying to manage their bodies through the end of the season because this is a tough, long year. They compete every week, and then sometimes they compete twice in 1 week.
On balance beam, as you know, we're looking for the combination of the jumps, of the dance, but also the difficulty elements of back handsprings and layouts and flips. Here's that combination aerial, right into way out, step out. Amazing, great job. Handling the pressure. We're also missing a dynamic floor routine, starting with a double layout and ending with a double pike. Wow. Seemed like a short balance beam routine, but all she has to do is get up and hit those requirements and then get off. Here's the aerial. She uses that aerial because it must be very consistent for her, because she does it into her dismount and then also as her flight series. She just looks so happy doing gymnastics, watching her in warm-up. Ending with the double pike.
Nicole Addison, very powerful gymnast there for Denver. Caitlin Scow will be their final performer, as you see over on the beam on the left side of your screen. Michaela Burton getting set to go, and she's getting a couple of notes from a former superstar, formerly Jamie Pisani, and she is now the assistant coach there.
Jamie Arbres has just done great. 5th year, like you said, she made a transfer from coaching balance beam from full exercise over to balance beam. And you can see the difference because they have 2 other new coaches, Courtney McCool Griffith, an Olympian, coaching the floor exercise. We'll get to see some of that work in just a little bit of her new choreography.
Jamie, many-time All-American for Arkansas, and really part of some of their best teams in their history.
Excellent.
Kayla Burton, the sophomore from Downers Grove, did her club training at Legacy Elite Gymnastics. Lots of top collegiate and elite gymnasts come out of that program in the suburban Chicago area.
Well, and something to note, Bart, is this, looking at the scores on the side, is that, you know, they do have to count one of those a fall. And so knowing that, she doesn't seem nervous at all. She's gone into this routine just very aggressive, which is exactly what you have to do when you're competing on balance beam.
So an important hit routine there after Haley Garner got a 9.925. So you're right, Kelly. There are 9.875, 9.525. But low scores, unfortunately, for Wellick and Carter, so they'll have to count one of those in their team total. Caitlin Scow from Orlando, Florida.
Just caught the tail end of that.
She gets congratulations there from Jay Hogue, who was formerly an assistant coach at Georgia. And he's now working at Denver along with the head coach there, who is providing hugs. That's Melissa Kutcher-Reinhardt. She's in her 17th season there.
You know, Jay does bring such a great piece to Denver. They not only are a little bit relaxed, but he really invests in the gymnasts to update the routines year after year, and you can see that, which is why that they are having such a stellar season so far.
I mentioned 17 season for Melissa Kutcher-Reinhardt. It's actually 19 seasons, so she has really created a superb program there at the University of Denver, that highly acknowledged private school in Denver. Okay, so we have completed 2 of 4 rotations in this quad meet, and the Oklahoma Sooners with a 99.15 are on pace for another 198 if they can keep up this momentum.
Thanks to Buick GMC, we are professional grade. And Love's, clean places, friendly faces. Sooner fans, do you know a local teacher that is dedicated to quality like our friends at PDQ Restaurants? Visit eatpdq.com/PDQ teacher to nominate them today.
Comfort Solutions scoring update here at the halfway point in this quad meet. Live from Norman, Oklahoma. You can see the event scores there. Oklahoma, Arkansas, Denver, and Arizona State. In terms of the team standings, OU with a 99-1-5, 1 point lead over Denver, who moved up from 4th after the first rotation into 2nd after an impressive job on floor exercise. Arizona State remains in 3rd, and Arkansas dropped from 2nd down to 4th. So these 3 teams separated by just a little bit more than 1.5 points as we move to the 3rd rotation. Oklahoma on the beam, Arizona State on the bars, Arkansas on the floor, and Denver goes to the vault. Let's go down to Meg. She caught up with Tom Haley.
Bart, thanks so much. I did catch up with the Oklahoma assistant coach, Tom Haley. We talked a lot about AJ Jackson on bars. Last week, she pulled in, clipped her feet, and had that fall on her dismount. This week, she nailed it. And a lot of that had to do with practice. He didn't have her do any dismounts in the first few days back. She did a lot of open tucks and then finally worked on that timing and exactly when she had to release to get that timing and get her a little farther from the bar. Very happy with that rotation on bars, though. He described it as very disciplined gymnastics, and that's the common theme of the night. On senior night, when I asked him how do they want to close out this meet, the next 2 events, without getting emotional and getting their emotions have the best of them, he said we have to stay disciplined. It's as simple as that.
Okay, thank you, Meg. Well, the Sooners go to balance beam, where they have defined greatness for the last decade, and a lot has to do with KJ Kindler and not only her day-to-day training, but many times it's just focusing just before the gymnasts get to go. And you mentioned earlier in the competition, you know, one of our Sooners to watch is this young lady, Stephanie Couture, who led them off last week with a 9.95 in the first rotation. That just sets the team on their way, doesn't it, Kelly?
Well, Coach Kindler mentioned that she has just a calming effect when she performs, and so going up first is key. You can tell she's being very aggressive, however. She's quietly confident.
That first vaulter for Denver was Deanna Chesnick. Arizona State has Morgan Wilson on the bars.
You know, the benefit of showing most all the routines is you get to see so many more gymnastics, but you don't get to hear as much about what exactly they might be doing.
On the floor exercise, Amanda Wellick performing for Arkansas. They're outstanding all-arounder. Interesting that she is in a lead-off position. Here's a young lady on floor who came back from a torn Achilles tendon.
Right, just last year.
She has just worked her way back into a solid standing in the all-around.
Well, having done that myself not so long ago, it's amazing to know that she's able to get out there and have that confidence and not worry that her Achilles may again tear.
Mia Sundstrom for Denver on vault.
Mia sure is a bright spot. I mean, she's just, every time you watch her, she seems just excited to be performing. Excellent dismount for Stephanie Couture. That's the way she wants to perform senior night. You know, you can see, Bart, that chalk and just in the it looks like it's snowing in the arena,
like
and
a snow globe.
It really does. But I've tried to explain to some friends recently, you know, you really don't get the full effect of gymnastics unless you're sitting in the stands in the arena, because you don't hear them hit the equipment and see that impact of the chalk flying in the air.
Justine Callis for Arizona State on the bars.
Excellent bar routine going on right here. I mean, clean and beautiful.
Oh, nice.
She worked hard to stick that landing.
Arizona State currently in 3rd position after 2 rotations. Emily Glynn for Denver on vault.
Unusual to see a Sukahara layout full. very old school compared
I like
for
it.
some. I know. We like it, don't we?
Bree Showers for the Sooners on beam, and Haley Garner from Arkansas on the floor. 985 was the leadoff score for Stephanie Couture, not quite the 995 that she delivered last week. I really like this beam routine from Bree Showers.
It's got a lot of originality. It's just different. I mean, it's not just same-o, same-o. Coach Kindler is good about doing that and bringing out, you know, finding that athlete who is willing to take some risk, do something a little bit different. Right here, the hop full, right to back handspring, swing down.
That's a tricky combination to connect, but she gets a bucket load of bonus points for connecting those skills together, 3 in a row.
Well, here's the hot dog on floor exercise. Haley Garner, just as a freshman, she's just kind of taken over by storm for Arkansas.
Caitlin Zafransky for Arizona State on bars.
I've really enjoyed watching the difference in the choreography led by Courtney McCool-Griffith for Arkansas on the floor exercise. Every routine just really shows off the personality and the ability of each athlete, what their best gifts are in gymnastics.
Bree Showers delivers a nice routine there for the Sooners in the second spot on beam.
You know, you just can't take those for granted. You think, oh, well, of course she's going to hit, and oh, the Sooners are going to. Not so. I mean, they had a big scare earlier this year, having some real inconsistent at the Perfect 10 challenge.
And a stuck vault for Denver. Nicole Addison, a really impressive Yurchenko full, and she drilled the landing. The lower left of your screen, Jessica Yamsen getting a few notes before she gets ready to go to the floor, one of the all-arounders for Arkansas.
Well, when she was coached in a club by a former OU great, Cassie Fry Rice, a teammate of mine, and it's
See that?
that was really fun, wasn't it? Well, maybe that is because she is from Vegas, so she does know how to perform. We'll get to see that right here.
I met her father before the competition, and he said, be glad that your son's not a gymnast. It's torture for us parents to sit up here and watch our kids compete.
Aw. So she opens just a clean double tuck. You can just see the difference in choreography and the entertainment value. I love it.
As Nicole Lehrman steps up to the beam, coming after Bree Showers gets a 9-9 in that second spot.
Yeah, I will anticipate seeing her move down the lineup next year. I think she's just having to prove her spot. Uneven bar work, it looks fantastic in the top left corner. Hitting handstands, beautiful form.
Ashley Zafransky, the sister of Caitlin Zafransky, who was just before her, swinging big for Arizona State.
Absolutely. I'm so impressed just watching them all, each routine. Assistant coach there at Arizona State is Stephen Buckner. But I know that he, along with Jay Santos, is really impacting the bars.
Maddie Carr for Denver on vault. A nice 1.5 twister.
I love it. A beautiful Yurchenko layout, 4.5. 10-0 start value. We'll see what it gets.
Lehrman doing a nice job for the Sooners here on beam in the third spot.
You know, she's one of those gymnasts that is very consistent and steady. And again, you don't want to take that for granted, but sometimes I just look away going, oh, she'll hit, and I'm going to see what's going on the other two events. But that is balance beam is an event you never take for granted. Even if you're ranked #1 in the country. Spots the landing. Really didn't need to move her foot. I think it just kind of, I don't know, didn't completely fight for it. Lots of great gymnastics going on.
And Kuhn, the French Olympian, on bars for Arizona State. They're having a really good rotation over there.
A little bit of a ping on the dismount, but still nice and clean. It's wonderful to see Natalie Brown back in the center lineup for the balance beam. She had hurt her knee earlier in the season, keeping her out. It's hard to believe she's actually a senior. I'm like, no!
Michaela Burton on floor for Arkansas, and Caitlin Scow set to go now for Denver on the vault, their final vaulter.
Little bit of a form issue, but still a completed vault. You know, at this point, they're happy to have enough vaulters in the lineup. We talked about that earlier for Denver.
Big night for Natalie Brown here on senior night. Hard to believe she's a senior. I remember when she first came to OU, gymnast who trained her club gymnastics at the World Olympic Gymnastic Academy.
She just has that look, so typical of Woga gymnastics, and beautiful long lines.
Out of the lineup earlier this year with an injury. And so she has
danced backwards. She's been in this position a couple of times this year where she doesn't normally compete that element, only if she misses the connection. And so she'll pull out, oh, okay, I'll just do my back handspring layout. I asked about it, and she does train that in practice just in case, and that is such a smart move.
One of those athletes who missed some of the meets earlier this year because of injury, and so she looks like she's starting to get into that level of confidence that we saw from her last year, but still a little doubt.
There is. You're exactly right, Bart. She just needs more numbers in competition, and she's gaining that. The Sooners have 2 more competitions before they start Big 12s and postseason.
So a hit routine for Natalie Brown, a couple of little minor bobbles, but you can't deny her beautiful lines and form and execution. Lehrman before her had a 9.875. Sarah Schaefer for Arkansas.
This routine is so cool. It's just really creative. I love the choreography. She's ranked number 18 in the country on float size. Almost a double layout. It's really open pike.
Sidelined last year with injuries, and good to have her competing at full strength this year for Arkansas.
You can really see how her height contributes to how high she can tumble. She uses it to her advantage. Normally you see a lot of twisting from the tall gymnast, but it's impressive to see all of her back tumbling high, double pike, double tuck.
Arkansas, of course, in the SEC, which is one of the powerhouse conferences in women's collegiate gymnastics. Interestingly enough, Arkansas is ranked 10th in the country, but they're the only team competing here today with a losing record. They're 3-8, but they have to go up against the toughest teams in the NCAA week in and week out. Oklahoma has an 8-1 record. Arizona State has a 6-5 record. And Denver has a 12-3 record.
It does put that in perspective. It's all relative on who your competition is and what that record really is.
Anastasia Webb waiting to get the green flag from the judges to get her chance to go on the beam here. And the 5th spot for Oklahoma. Natalie Brown, a 9.825. So 1.99 in the lineup for Oklahoma. Bree Showers. Others in the 9.8 range, which Oklahoma, it's not uncommon for Oklahoma to average 9.9 on beam. And look at what Anastasia Webb has done so far today. 2 9.925s, and she drilled both those landings on vault and bars.
Well, we'll see what she brings to balance beam. I mean, she's already scored a perfect 10 this year on balance beam. So she can certainly give Maggie Nichols a run for her money in the all-around. And I love that, because iron sharpens iron.
Oh my goodness.
How about that? Such a surprise. You know, Bart, when you take a fall like that, it does usually question your confidence. You know, you mount back up like, wait a second, what just happened here? She doesn't seem to be letting it affect her at all. It's almost like she's angry.
It looks like she's now sort of performing with purpose.
Yes.
Instead of finessing it, she seems a lot more aggressive after the fall.
Yeah, she's not happy with that at all. Aw.
Beam is one of those events where there's no benefit in being timid, right? Even though it's a nerve-wracking event, aggressive is the way to go.
Yes, it is. And you know what? How do you mount the beam going, I'm going to be aggressive? Well, you do. And that comes from training and repetition. You know, she was just off. I mean, she clearly was off, but it's interesting. I really, it's so evident how when she got back up there, she was hot. I mean, she's like, no, we're not going to let that happen again. So she needs to take that to the rest of the season, I suppose.
You lose a half a point for a fall. And so that will be a score that the Sooners would like to drop, as KJ Kindler gives a couple of notes to Maggie Nichols, who knows all about perfection. 11 times in her young college career she has scored perfect 10s. Floor is just wrapped up there. Sophia Carter from Arkansas finishing her performance, and they'll get a few notes from head coach Mark Cook as Arkansas will move to vault for their final rotation.
Well, there's no better person to be going up last than Maggie Nichols regarding the pressure. I've seen her time and time again in this situation, and she just gets up and does her routine like normal. Nerves of steel.
Anastasia Webb, you see her score in is a 9.3. Obviously, that's the one they want to drop. But it's quite unusual for the Sooners to only have one score, 9.9 or better in this event. And that came from Bree Showers in that second spot.
Yeah, it definitely looks foreign to look up at the score.
Something about the way Maggie Nichols performs beam that exudes confidence.
It does. I mean, it's not even just in her movements. I mean, the expression on her face says it all, too. And what I love about it and about her is she's not an arrogant person at all. And the way she performs doesn't come across arrogant either. It's truly a confident look, and we all know there's a fine line between each of those, but wow. Really? Again?
Maggie Nichols, exclamation point, after a couple of
look how she sets this up.
Nerve-riddled routines. Look at the lift on this 1.5 twister.
And she spots it.
It's so nice to see that kind of power and technique and cool head all wrapped up into one package. The fans want to see a 10.
You know, that's what it is almost these days. I mean, it's not like you get a guarantee. You can't guarantee a 10, but I've never met any gymnast or seen any gymnast here at OU that it's most likely that when you go watch an OU gymnastic meet, you might see a 10 from Maggie Nichols.
Brenna Dowell getting some notes from KJ Kindler. There's big applause in the gym, but I can't quite see the scoreboard at this point. We're looking for the score, and I hear a groan because it came in as a 9.975. Everybody in the audience got excited because there are two judges here. They averaged the scores of the two judges. So one judge gave it 10. The other judge a 9.95, resulting in a 9.975 average for Maggie Nichols. Now, Brenna Dowell has done a nice job today for the Sooners. This, again, is an exhibition performance. Won't count towards their team total.
You know, as great as Brenna Dowell is on 3 events, balance beam has not really been known as her forte. And I just love that she is starting to be in the lineup. Such a key player for the Sooners, and might be for next season that they really need her. She's been so great on the other events. I just think it's brought up her confidence to allow her to say, hey, well, what about balance beam? What about all around for me? We've got a full twisting back handspring. So unique. You might be wondering why they go down on the balance beam like that. They have to have their torso touch the balance beam to show a difference in level. Dismount, front full, perfectly stuck landing. How about that? She is really wanting to earn that spot and showcase an all-around competition. As you mentioned, Bart, this will not be a score for the Sooner team, but it will definitely put some confidence in her basket going forward, knowing that she, and for Coach Keller to say, hey, yeah, I need you. Come on up today.
Nice to have such depth on that event. The Sooners have 8 or 9 athletes that have that 9.9 plus capability on balance beam. Stephanie Couture gave them a great start. Bree Showers, one of the high scorers in that rotation. And Maggie Nichols, as expected, an exclamation point in the 3rd rotation for Oklahoma. So they will move to the floor exercise in the 4th and final rotation. Denver will be on the uneven bars. Arkansas goes to the beam. And Arizona State will be on beam.
Thanks to our cornerstone sponsors, Anheuser-Busch, OU Medicine, the OU Extended Campus, and our community partners, Landers Auto Group, Devon Energy, and OU Medicine.
All right, let's take a look at the Air Comfort Solutions score update. You can see the individual event scores, and you can see the dash mark where those teams have yet to compete. Oklahoma with a 148.6, currently in the lead. Denver with a 147.125 in second. Arizona State in third with a 146.875, and Arkansas 0.2 of a point behind them in fourth of this 4-team meet. So set for the final rotation, and of course this is a big night for the seniors. 4 young ladies are being celebrated: Stephanie Couture, Natalie Brown, Samantha Kraus, and A.J. Jackson. For more on that, let's go down to Meg.
Bart, thanks. This is the last time the Oklahoma seniors will compete inside the Lloyd Noble Center. And head coach KJ Kindler actually told me that this class, when they were incoming freshmen, they never thought in a million years that they would find the success that they have found as Oklahoma gymnasts. They're 2-time national champions, 3-time Big 12 champions, and they share a plethora of All-America honors. Now, most of the seniors are done for the night, except A.J. Jackson, who will compete on floor. And she is one of the most powerful, most explosive tumblers in the NCAA. Sooner fans will certainly miss her next season.
Thank you, Meg. This is what they call the one-touch warm-up. It's basically a 30-second per athlete final touch warm-up before the final rotation. You can look at the top scorers for the NCAA this year. 5 top scorers, and 3 of them are owned by the Sooners, including that meet that 198-375 versus Michigan last week. Kelly, I know you covered that event. That was pretty impressive competition. The Sooners were on fire that night, weren't they?
They really were on fire, and it's we haven't quite seen the same thing tonight, and it is hard to replicate. That's one reason we talked about it in the beginning of the broadcast, about how it's difficult to keep that pace, to come off of a high win or a record score, and then to come into competition and think, oh gosh, we got to do it again.
Of course, the 198 is a 9.9 average, and the Sooners averaging just a little bit better than a 9.9 tonight. If they hope to notch another 198, they'll need to average 9.9 plus on floor. Jessica Yamson for Arkansas, leading them off in their 4th and final rotation.
She's just been such a consistent one for Denver. Or, I'm sorry.
Yamson, the sophomore from Las Vegas.
Sorry, right. At Arkansas.
Cairo Leonard Baker leading up Arizona State's effort on the balance beam. Arizona State currently in 3rd of the 4 teams. They'll need to be solid there. On the bars, Claire Kern leading them off for University of Denver. Bree Showers gets the leadoff spot for the Oklahoma Sooners on floor. Sarah Schaefer on vault for Arkansas.
Wow, what a nice high vault. I love that blind landing, the Yurchenko layout half. Boy, Bree sure knows how to start them off. It's so clean, toe point, even in a double pike. Love it. Uh-oh.
That was unusual.
That was a mistake.
Supposed to do a combination tumbling pass, but that was not the combination.
No, definitely not. I'm not exactly sure what she normally performs, but it's definitely not that. And we'll be curious to see what her start value is. You know, Bart, you and I both know that the floor routine starts from a 9.5 with all the basic requirements, but then they have to gain 5/10 in bonus, and that's usually accomplished through tumbling.
There's a good combination tumbling pass there.
True. And you can receive that in tumbling, but and also in your dance. But you always want to start from that 10-0 so you can get the highest score possible. Here's a view of the last pass, which was right on. It was during that second pass that was a little bit off for her. And maybe she was smart enough to not go for it, knowing that she would fall if she did.
Amanda Wellick for Arkansas on the vault there. Very nice Yurchenko full, clean execution.
Especially thinking about vaulting after coming off of an Achilles tear. So she's really had to work hard to get back to be able to complete that her senior year. You can see Brenna Dow preparing for her floor routine. She has such a unique tumbling pass. That first tumbling pass, front, double front, and then she can land it and often jump right out of it.
Saw the finish of the routine there for Heather Udowich, the junior from Allen, Texas, for Arizona State on beam. Brenna Dow set to go on floor. Deanna Chesnick for Denver on bars.
Wow, nice high to Kachev right from a blind full. Love how her feet are perfectly glued together. Slight knee bend on the cast, a little unusual. And a beautiful full twisting double back dismount.
Denver had a fantastic year last year, finished 9th in the NCAA. And Chesnick did not compete in 3 events last year as she's doing tonight, so she's really stepping up for the team this year, using only 8 athletes tonight, as Bray Speed for Arkansas does a nice job there in the 4th spot on vault. Arkansas currently in 4th of these 4 teams competing in today's competition. Interestingly enough, though, they're the highest ranked other than the Sooners. They're number 10 currently in the country, and they had a very big score against Florida this year they were proud of. Season high score for Arkansas, a 197.275 as Brenna Dow takes to the floor. Pre-showers only a 9.6, so her score was significantly hurt because of the missed.
There's that double front,
requirement.
Although there was a little pop forward, so that is a deduction. We all know you're allowed to take a step, but on a skill like that, you definitely want to stick.
Emily Glynn for Denver on bars. And Kuhn on beam for Arizona State.
Beautiful technique on that dismount. Love seeing that. Brenna has such power, lift, and height that her jumps. A little off on the vault, a little bit off to the side.
That was Sophia Carter for Arkansas.
You know, that's one thing that Brenna does well. When something sometimes goes a little bit awry early in her routine, she doesn't panic. She just stays the course and hits the rest of her routine beautifully. We're going to look right here at the double front and see that significant hop forward. Chest was down.
Lindsey Brown will be up for Denver, a freshman from Kansas City.
Ironically, Lindsey is in 2 events tonight, and it's not her best 2 events. So she's just coming back from well, she just has a sore ankle. Her Achilles is just a little bit tender, and so they're trying to rest her. And Coach Reinhardt said, you know, we have to just find that balance of knowing when to push, how quickly to push, especially recovering from just a strain.
It's interesting because you're right. They have to manage these athletes throughout this rather grueling regular season. And she's superb on vault and floor, but they want to make sure that they can have her legs fresh by the time they really need her in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, she mentioned to me, wow, last minute is really last minute this year.
Haley Garner, the final vaulter for Arkansas, not with a particularly difficult vault then. Nicole Lehrman up now after Brenna Dow notched a 9.9.
You know, Nicole is really fairly new to the floor lineup. I still think she's still finding her way. She just doesn't have the confidence that is typical to see from a Sooner gymnast of floor exercise. She's great. She needs to know she's great.
Doing the all-around tonight, that's a rarity for Lehrman.
It's like she has all the elements, but she needs to show it more. And partly, I think it's the intensity of her look that actually looks a little bit insecure versus just intense. At least on balance beam, not so much, but floor exercise, yes.
So interesting that KJ Kindler, who choreographs these routines, comes up with routines that are all completely different and set a little different mood and presentation, don't they?
Exactly. I mean, you just listen to the music, and for her to come up with such a different feel, you know, she cuts her own music, and then she also choreographs it. You know, it's a true artistic gift.
Oh, I liked that routine. Ashley Zafransky for Arizona State on beam.
She also does that back handspring swing down, which is so beautiful. You know, we saw her on the uneven bars, and she had such amazing swing and form.
She's a sophomore from Parkettes Gymnastics. Her sister Caitlin also trained there, of course, and then went to Louisiana State and chose to transfer. And now the sisters compete together for Arizona State.
That'll certainly create some great memories for them.
See what Anastasia Webb can come up with here after the rare mistake on the balance beam. She was having such an incredible day, sticking her vault and her bars routines perfectly.
It was almost like on balance beam, she was in awe that she felt. I mean, it was just like, almost like it hurt her feelings. So you can see how aggressive she's being in this floor routine.
Nicole Lehrman's score is in. That was a 9.875.
I love the passion and the energy she puts into her floor routine. It's very deep and dynamic. Last pass ends with a Rudy, clean. Excellent. She's just a joy to watch. Every time she's out there, I love her enthusiasm for the sport. It's so raw and so real. What a beautiful mount and balance feed.
Justine Callis.
Triple series, something you just don't see very often. Backhand, backhand lay, and it was just, she did it with ease.
Typically, she competes on 3 events for Arizona State, the soft junior, Chesapeake, Virginia.
That is one thing that Coach Santos mentioned when he took over at Arizona State, is really working on the strength of all the athletes so that they too can continue on without getting injured and have the stamina for a long season.
AJ Jackson getting a big cheer to start her floor routine. The crowd knows that this young lady, as a senior, this will be her final home performance for the Sooners.
There's her signature chalk blow in the air, stuck that second tumbling pass.
Sooners have 2 more meets. One is at Alabama, and then 2 days later at TWU. But this is the final home performance.
Hard to believe. So cool.
Jackson, the senior from Belton, Missouri, did her club training in Eagles Gymnastics.
Watch this last tumbling pass. Aww. Pretty much a smile just as big as I've ever seen her give.
You know.
Aww.
Speaking to KJ Kindler earlier this season, she said, I know AJ is feeling like her impressive career is coming to an end. You can see the emotion on her face tonight.
You really can, and that's unusual for her. She doesn't always show that genuine emotion. She has a performance face, but this was beautiful double pike. You can see her teammates dancing along with her. Whip half. Rudy. Aw, just getting hugs by the crowd.
Really nice crowd on hand to celebrate not only the Sooners who will earn the victory here, but 4 very special young ladies who are going out in an impressive fashion as seniors. See on the beam there on the left, Caitlin Zafransky is an exhibition performance for Arizona State. Maggie Nichols will be the final scoring performer for the Sooners here.
You know, last week, Bart, she did her full in for her first tumbling pass, which was the first time in the season. So we'll see right here whether she does it again.
AJ Jackson's final score here at home for the Sooners at 9.95. And there it is. Beautiful full in pike for Maggie Nichols.
You know, she just pulls it out of her pocket like, oh, full in today. She's really coming into her own as a performer, too. I mean, she's always been great gymnastically, but I think she's really starting to own her gymnastics.
But you're right, Kelly, quite a bit of difference in collegiate competition than elite competition. They're really focusing on selling their performances more in college and bringing the audience down onto the floor with them and really drawing the judges and everyone in.
Well, that's why it's so fun to be here, because you feel that. You feel that energy that you can't feel when you're watching TV. So if you're enjoying it at home right now, just imagine what you would feel if you were here. Fighting for a stick. Not sure they'll give it. It's hard to tell.
The score they're hoping to replace there is the 9-6 from Bree Showers, and boom, mark it down. Another score, likely 9-9 plus for Maggie Nichols. And she added that full in pike. Now this is the time of the season where the coaches are looking for those opportunities to add more difficulty, Kelly, because it will matter when they go against the best teams in the country.
Well, and I think they learned after last year, like, hey, you don't have to do your hardest stuff all season long like you did in the elite program. So she's wising up herself and buying into understanding what college gymnastics is about and what's required to protect her body so it will last.
Evie Schofer getting a couple of notes there from Tom Haley. She is performing in an exhibition role, the freshman from Ames, Iowa. Maggie Nichols score in a 9.925. So the Sooners will eclipse that 198 mark again. They end up with a 198.1 as we watch Schofer.
You know, this is truly great experience for Evie because she needs it. I mean, it helps her to understand where her little deductions might come from because, you know, it's not okay to be a 9.7 floor routine and be on the center squad. I mean, they're wanting and needing to replace 9.9, 9.95s from AJ Jackson next season.
Such an interesting contrast. This routine couldn't be more different than the routine we saw from AJ Jackson. This is bouncy and bubbly, and Jackson's routine is moody and mysterious, and yet they're both created by KJ Kindler.
That's one thing I do enjoy about her work as a choreographer is that if she doesn't touch everyone in the building, you know, with one of her routines, you're simply not human with emotion, because she can do it. You know, it's a good routine, but it's not great, and she can't have that, oh, I was really trying to stick my last tumbling pass and land with her chest down. I mean, those are the things that she's going to have to perfect before she has a consistent spot in the lineup.
She can do a double layout, and perhaps she needs to go for the double layout because she can barely control that first tumbling pass, and yet her final tumbling pass is actually more difficult, the pike double back. Well, Evie Schofer does an exhibition routine for the Sooners, and this baby is wrapped up. When we come back to Norman, we will give the final score. The Oklahoma Sooners get over 198-1. Bree Showers led them off with an uncharacteristic 9.6. Brenna Dowell did her part for the Sooners with consistent landings. And when we come back, we'll give you the final score on today's competition, and we'll take a few minutes to celebrate these 4 super seniors. We're back in Norman, Oklahoma. This one is complete. An impressive day of gymnastics with 4 teams ranked in the top 15 in the country. The Taco Mayo final match stats on the screen. Oklahoma keeps their streak alive, another 198-1. Denver gets second with a 196.525, and an impressive score for them. They will replace a lower away score, so that will help their regional qualifying score. Arkansas in third with a 195.725, and Arizona State with a 195.7, a team that is really on the move in terms of improvement. So a fine day of gymnastics here in Norman, and a special night for not only the Oklahoma Sooners, but 4 impressive seniors. The road ahead for Oklahoma, busy week. March 16th, they're at Alabama, and then 2 days later, they're at Texas Women's University. And then 6 days after that, it is the Big 12 Championships. So all of those meets will wrap up the conference competition for the Sooners. Then they'll go to the regional qualifying meets, and then to the national championships, where they will compete 2 more times. So there's a lot of gymnastics left for the Oklahoma Sooners, who are once again ranked number 1 in the country. Let's go down to Meg, who's with Coach KJ Kindler.
Bart, thanks so much. Down here with head coach KJ Kindler. How rewarding was it as a coach to see the fans show up for AJ Jackson on her last routine on floor?
Yeah, it's so exciting. It's just exciting to see them for the last time in here. You know, they were very emotional about it. I think they have been all week, so it's just great to see them all be successful tonight.
What'd you like about how your senior class handled an emotional night like tonight?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things going on in your head. I can't crawl in and find out what's all going on, but I'm guessing there's a lot of sadness, you know. I don't know, you know, it's so tough to have it be your last meet, but it's not really your last meet. We try to, you know, get them out of that mode, but there's just no way. It's just too big of a moment.
How has this senior class impacted the Oklahoma women's gymnastics program?
Incredibly, and they're such a great group and have amazing chemistry. We haven't had a group with that much chemistry. Unbelievable leaders. I can't say enough about their leadership, so I'm just proud to have known them.
KJ, thank you.
Thank you.
Bart.
Thank you, Meg, and KJ, congratulations. The Love's routine of the meet was the 9.975 for Maggie Nichols in a clutch performance on the beam, Kelly.
I sure would like to see those judges' score sheet, because, you know, they've given 10s to her before, and I didn't quite see the mistake tonight, but they must have seen a little one.
course, not only did the Sooners notch a victory and another score over 198, but a special night for 4 impressive seniors. A.J. Jackson, solid on the vault as always.
Nice to see her on the uneven bars. Here's her dismount. You could tell she was emotional all evening, almost trying too hard to be perfect.
Boy, she kicked out of that pike double back somersault. How nice to have that much power.
Absolutely. She will certainly be missed as a bundle of energy. Aw.
And she smiled her way through their intense floor routine. Now, Stephanie Couture has just been a rock. Her clean execution and form on bars and beam have just been superb for the Sooners during her career.
It's just amazing how her freshman year was, she only competed exhibition and then had the opportunity her sophomore year, and since then she has been just a rock-solid gymnast for the Sooners.
Natalie Brown, the senior.
Really, really hard to believe. Gonna miss all that beautiful body line, emotional leadership that she provides. She's just a beautiful gymnast and dancer.
And Samantha Kraus, the other senior, who did not participate in tonight's competition, but you can see as they are showing videos on the overhead screen celebrating these contributions. A very emotional night for these 4 seniors. So the fans had a good time. 4 great teams, all in the top 15 in the nation. Oklahoma, Arizona State, Arkansas, and Denver. Your final thoughts on this meet, Kelly Garrison?
Once again, the Sooners bring it, and we'll see what they can do the rest of the season.
Another 198 for Oklahoma at home. A great day for the Sooners. Thanks for tuning in to Sooner Sports Television.